نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد من الله على المؤمنين إذ بعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وقال تعالى في مقام آخر واكتب لنا في هذه الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة إنا هدنا إليك قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء ورحمتي وسعت كل شيء فسأكتبها للذين يتقون ويؤتون الزكاة والذين هم بآياتنا يؤمنون الذين يتبعون الرسول النبي الأمي الذي يجدونه مكتوبا عندهم في التوراة والإنجيل يأمرهم بالمعروف وينهاهم عن المنكر ويحل لهم الطيبات ويحرم عليهم الخبائث ويدع عنهم إصرهم والأغلال التي كانت عليهم فالذين آمنوا به وعزروه ونصروه واتبعوا النور الذي أنزل معه أولئك هم المفلحون صدق الله وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم. My dear respected brothers in Islam and respectable and respected Mr. Hafiz Iqbal Saab, first of all I would like to congratulate all of you for this new place which converted from Darul Shaitan to Darul Quran. وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, He makes an evil place a good one. Where Satan was worshipped, now there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worshipped. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. This is the grace and the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala empower you people and give you tawfiq under the leadership of Hafiz Iqbal Sahib, that through you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accomplished this very noble job. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a markaz and center of Quran and Sunnah. As Hafiz Sahib mentioned, the brothers, the sisters and the families, they are joining a procession today somewhere in Austin. As you know, what is going on all over the world, and especially nowadays in that area, which is called Palestine, and I don't know why, the world is quiet and silent and does not condemn that zulm there. When I say the world, I don't refer to general public. I refer to those who are in authority, those who have the power, those who are ruling the world. Otherwise, we are living in an era where we propagate a lot through media, electronic and print, and especially social media, human rights, equality, freedom, liberty, children's rights, women's rights. So we have a right to pose a question. Palestinians, they are not human. Palestinians, they do not have rights. Palestinian women, they are not women. The children, they are not children. So these commonly known slogans are mottos. Where these slogans and mottos are sleeping now? And why it is so? الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم بغير حق إلا أن يقولوا ربنا الله. Their only crime is that they say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Otherwise, they are the children of Sam, Adam and Eve. So if you are talking about human rights, they are human. And in Jummah prayer, I was unable to hold and control myself. Because before Jummah prayer, I was watching a video where an old man, he was standing in front of the dead bodies of his 7 grandkids from 2 years to 9, 10 years. He was crying, he was unable to hold himself, he was crooked. And that old man said that, my kids, when you will see Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam there, so tell him that we were being killed and your ummah, they were looking and watching this drama. They were not coming forward to take a serious step in this regard. We are not forcing people towards fight and battle. But at least there must be a strong voice that stop it, this is brutality. Stop it, this is cruelty. So the brothers and sisters, they are going to Austin, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them. Amen. And those who arrange, if they are Muslim, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them reward. And if there are non-Muslims as well, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to the right path as well. Because they are doing a noble job, so we are bound to make a dua for them. And the best dua for a non-Muslim is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to the right path. My dear respected brothers in Islam, Alhamdulillah, you bought this place. And Officer told me that we have started work already here, not construction work or remodeling. Mean the purpose which for this has been bought and purchased. So he told me that 2 Jumas are taking place here, alhamdulillah. And also the classes are here. The kids are coming. And their teacher, they are teaching them Quran. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. Minnat mane, khidmat sultan hami kuni. Minnat shanas azo ke bakhidmat badashtat. If somebody is serving a king, so the king should not be thankful to him. The servant himself must be thankful to the king that he is keeping him as a servant. And through his services, he is getting a title and a status. When you are working for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so don't look toward that he will be giving me something in cash. But you must be thankful to Allah. Otherwise, this world is full of lot of people, they are not doing anything, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you on the right track, you are serving the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A delegation of Banu Tamim came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ila matadu. What's your call? What's your invitation to what? What's your da'wah? What you say? Because we heard your own people, they are opposing you. They are getting offended. So what you say? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the word and language of Quran, told them, هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني فسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين. That my call, that is very simple. I am calling people towards Allah. I am not using any bad language against anyone. I am not cursing people. I am talking to them very nicely, in a very noble and gentle way, calling them towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But keep in mind, my respected brothers, when you are promoting virtues, even though you are not condemning the evils, still that promotion of virtue is practically condemning of evil. Now look, you were not in need of cursing this bar or gazebo or whatever was here. And whatever activities were taking place here, you change it with something good. So the bad automatically جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا. When haq comes, batil run away. So the haq came and the batil ran away. So promotion of virtue itself, that is practical or implicit condemnation of evil. Even though in Islam, and regarding Islam, I have written a few books of mine. Books are available here. We are doing it on a missionary basis. No business, and I have nothing to do with a single penny of my books. The money is coming, and for next books and next books and next books. So you will find it in Urdu and in English as well, on many topics. So there I mentioned that Islam is classified to 4 basic branches and shobas. Number 1, the faiths and beliefs. I have written a few books on faiths and beliefs. One is regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is Khuda Kaha. Where is Allah? Another one in Arabic, Ain Allah, Huna, Am Hunaka, Aw Inda Qafaka. That is the title of the book. Ain Allah, Huna, Am Hunaka, Aw Inda Qafaka. Which means that where is Allah? He is here, or He is there on Arsh, or He is everywhere. And also, I wrote another book because now we are living in such an era where the people are posing these type of questions. So I wrote a book in English, Does God Exist? Because we are living in secularism era, in liberalism era, but now we are furthermore developed in this regard, in modern liberalism era, where this question that arose, does God exist? So I wrote the book and named it as Does God Exist? My dear respected brothers, another one I wrote in Arabic, Ilmul Kalam, Tarikhuhu wa Irtiqa'uhu, where I spoke and talked about Aqaid in Islam. So now Aqaid in Islam, that is the first level branch of Deen. When you are a Muslim, say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. We are Muslims or not? No, not like this. We are Muslims or not? Alhamdulillah. Enthusiasm. Because you have to be proud of. In Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِّمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to your followers and to the Muslims, by the grace of Allah and the rahmah of Allah, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. You must boast. You must rejoice. You must be proud of that I have the fazl of Allah and I have the rahmah of Allah. Now what is the fazl of Allah and what is the rahmah of Allah? Ibn Masud says, radiyallahu ta'ala, that the fazl and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is iman. And the mercy and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Quran. So we are Muslim, we have iman and Quran both. Yes? Alhamdulillah. And Qatada, radiyallahu ta'ala, he is student of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu ta'ala, and a great professor. He said, بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَهُوَ الْقُرْآنِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ أَنْ جَعَلَنَا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ. They say, the fazl of Allah, which is Quran, and the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are Ahlul Quran. We are people of Quran. Are we believed in Quran? We recite Quran. We memorize Quran. We learn qira'at and tajweed of Quran. We study the translation of Quran. We are learning the tafsir of Quran. And as much as we can, we practice Quran accordingly. So all these people are called the Ahlul Quran. I'm not referring to another Ahlul Quran Munkin Hadith. There are Mirza Ghulam al-Parvez and people like him. They do not believe in Hadith as source of Islamic law. And unanimously, the Ummah have given a fatwa such like people are not Muslim, they are non-Muslims. So my dear respected brothers, in Islam, Ahlul Quran in Hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you are called Ahlul Quran, so you are Ahlullah as well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ahlul Quran, Ahlullah. Ahlul Quran, they are the family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are not proud that we are the family of Allah. Say, as you know, the human nature is like this. If somebody has some status and position, or he is a rich man, weakness of human in his nature is that everybody claim he is my cousin. That's not. Why? Because the guy is great man, so that's why I want to fly on the supply of others. Yes? I'm trying to fly on supply of others. So now, that is the case of human. But if you are the family of Allah, you must be proud of it. That's why Allah says, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. They must boast. They must rejoice. They must be proud of that we have Iman in Quran. هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِّمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when the people are accumulating, when they are collecting and gathering together, the word be attachment and the word be wealth. What is wealth? And what is the ultimate end of wealth? The much more bigger important use of wealth is to eat food. And when you eat food, let's say, tandoori, barbecue, chicken roast, gulab jamun, baklava, nihari, biryani, you just name it. What is the ultimate end? When it will go out, you yourself will cover your nose therefrom. So that is the ultimate end of this worldly wealth. You know what I'm saying? So why we are becoming crazy for such a thing, for faith? We are becoming crazy. Otherwise, what is the use of wealth? More than that. I was telling my friends now when we are coming that the father of modern philosophy, who is that? You are learned people, you are living in America and Western world. So father of modern philosophy, Socrates, who is called Socrates. I call him the great-grandfather of philosophy. Then his student, Plato, I call him the grandfather of philosophy. And that his student, Aristotle, I call him the father of philosophy. So father, grandfather and great-grandfather. So Socrates, he was such a philosopher that he used to go to the bazaar and with the porters he was walking and he was teaching the philosophy. Because at that time philosophy was the elite's privilege. The elite class, they were studying there. He said Allah or the Creator. He doesn't use the word Allah. He said the Creator. He has put the talent in every human. But the talent must be activated. How you will activate it? So for activation, he was not starting teaching first. He was asking questions first. From a porter, what do you think about this? Oh, very good. Yeah, he was encouraging. Yes, then another one, and then going with them. And then he was analyzing what they said to him. That you have a talent. You know a lot. I'm learning from you. And then step by step, where there was such a concept which has to be approved by, he was approving it. Which has to be rejected, so he was rejecting it and correcting it that this concept should be like this. So once he was very tired, so he slept right in the middle of the street. And the king of Greece, Yunnan, he was going somewhere, and as you know, protocol, security. They're actually protocol, but they name it as security. Because this pomp, yes, people are becoming pharaoh. Yes, when protocol is there, so everybody is becoming pharaoh. So the king was going somewhere. The police and ranger, bhago, bacho, idhar udhar, rasta kholo, badshah salamat tashrif la rahe hain. Sara formally ki aati. The king is coming. People were running here, there. But nobody noticed Socrates. That he is right there in the middle of the street and he's sleeping. The king arrived. He saw something there. So he came down. He hit him like this with his toe. So Socrates did this. Yes. So the king, he said, you don't know who I am? So Socrates said, from your kick, to me you are looking like some jeans of donkey. Your jeans of donkey. Because kick, that is the nature of who? Donkey kick. So he said, to me you are looking like the genes or DNA of donkey. So now, subhanAllah, the king, he started burning. Somebody's calling him donkey or genes of donkey. He said, I am the king of Greece. These bazaars belong to me. These ranches and trees are mine. This power is mine. This wealth is mine. This property is mine. The plazas are mine. This is mine and this is mine. Socrates bowed down. He said, bowed down. If somebody will overtake you today, what belongs to you? You lost everything. And if the death will overtake you, what you hold at that time when you are dead. Now the police chief, he stepped in and he said, Saad Malik, Mr. King, leave him. He is insane, crazy man. Now the moment he said he is a crazy man, so the king, he recalled his mind. This is Socrates? Ustad Socrates? He said, yes, this is Ustad Socrates. He said, he is the only intellectual man. All of us, we are crazy and insane. He is right. So Socrates told him, think about what is your quality inside. All these things you are mentioning, these are outside. You have nothing to do with. You could be deprived of it any time. So tell me some quality from your inside. So that's what I was telling you, that word and worldly ill, worldly wealth. What is this? This is an outside thing. It does not make your personality. It does not make your status. Whatever knowledge you have, whatever character you have, that is your personality, that's your quality. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. How you will get these qualities? Only through Iman and Quran and nothing else. Because we are talking about akhlaqiyat. About what? Say. Akhlaqiyat. Character. And where from the character is coming? How the character would be built? So character would be built with two concepts. Number one, that you are subject to an authority. And number two, a time is coming when you will be put to accountability. So that authority is Allah and that day is the day of judgment. So besides this being, there is no source of ethics and that's why we say that character, that is ma'ruzi haqiqat. That is objective reality. That is not a mawdu'i haqiqat, subjective reality. Now the difference of Islam and other culture is that to Islam, akhlaqiyat is objective reality. And to other culture, that is subjective reality. In Islam, the character is not getting changed. Got it? But in other culture, from time to time, and from place to place, the akhlaqiyat are changing. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because people are not making themselves subject to any authority that he will put us to question. He will put us to accountability. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. So I was referring to Islam that number one, the faith and beliefs. And number two, after beliefs, that is the second branch is akhlaqiyat or moral character. Because character, number one, makes your personality. And this community, for example, if all of them, they will become akhlaqi people, having noble character, so it will reform and correct the society as well. You will not be in need of the control of any authority, nor you be in need of any judicial system. Because you are considering yourself self-accountable. And Sayyidina Umar, look, to me it does not make difference that how many people are sitting there. Yes, to me this makes difference that how they are sitting there. How many people are sitting there, or how they, even though I have in front of me two people, but they are sitting attentively, I can speak to them for 4 hours. Got it? Because Islam believes not in quantity, Islam believes in quality. So you are a quality people. You are attentive. You understand what I say. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, character, our noble character. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in the hadith, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ مُعَلِّمًا وَإِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I have been sent to you people as a teacher. And I have been sent to you people لِأُتَمِّمَ. He didn't say لِأُعَلِّمَ. to teach you the best and noble character. لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. To do the itmam and perfection of noble character. So do the itmam, what it means. Number one, I will show it through my practice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not teaching good only. He was practicing good, and Sahaba, they used to follow him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told them, for example, in Ibadah, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Look at me, pray the way I am praying. And let me tell you one thing. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, Abu Hurairah, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. There was a dispute between Sayyidina Muawiyah and Sayyidina Ali, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Abu Hurairah, in that ijtihadi matter, he was on the side of Ali, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. But for fighting and battle also they had rules. Now we don't have rules for anything. Their fight used to start after sunrise and stop before sunset. Yes, and then there was peace the whole night. After sunrise, before sunlight, that was the better time. Got it? So Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala, he used to pray Maghrib with Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala. For Isha prayer, he used to go to Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala on the other side. So he was praying, and after Isha, Sayyidina Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala, he was taking his dinner along with his followers. Got it? So Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala said, Abu Hurairah, he said, yes. He said, you are fighting against me the whole day. And this time you come here. This time you come here every day. Why it is so? So Abu Hurairah, they were not munafiq. Sahaba, Rizwanullahi alayhim, black and white. They were believing in black and white. He said, because in the matter, I think that ijtihad of Ali is right. So that's why I am with him. That's why I am with him. But when I come here and I see you the way you are praying, فَصَلَاتُكَ أَشَدُّ شِبْهًا بِرَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Your prayer is much more like the prayer of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when I'm looking at you, I'm becoming happy that this was the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying. And then Abu Hurairah smiled. He said, and the second thing, there spinach and beans, and here is roasted lamb and chicken. Yes. What the people they were. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made them up. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Ulaika khairul bariyah." They are the best people. Radiyallahu anhu wa radu anhu. And to tell you one thing, now when you will go to this social media, you call it better media. The social media, they call it social. Is there any sociality or sociality? Say, no. All the lies, the F thing, that is a thing, once then retired. Is it so or not? I think that you think that is wahi. That is not wahi. Yes, that is a faith. What the people are talking there? Lies. What the people are talking there? Are taking the honor and dignity of one another. They do or not?
Yes.
Say, they do or not?
Yes.
Yes. So I call it gutter media. So when I see a stupid guy will be sitting here and he's becoming the judge of Muawiyah and Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. That is just like the Texas governor. He has some differences with Mr. President of America. Yes, and a man like me, a common layman, I will step forward that I help you judge that who is on one side and who is on the right. People will curse me stupid. What is your position? So I said that what type of people he is sitting here after 1400 years to judge Muawiyah and Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One is the son-in-law of Rasulullah and another one is the brother-in-law of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was a Katib Wahi and he was a Katib Wahi. For Quran there were 62 official inscribers amongst Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Ali and Muawiyah both were of these 62 people. And to tell you one thing, once a big man came visiting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my caravan is outside. I have brought for you something special. So if you will send with me someone to bring it to you, we are staying here in the outskirts of Medina. So now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sitting here with the guy. Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala there on the other side of Masjid. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Muawiyah. He said, Ya Rasulullah. He said, go with this guy. He will give you something. So therefore Muawiyah, he left and went with that guy. Now he was barefooted. And you know the Saudi Arabia scorching the heat and the pebbles and sand. Barefooted, he was walking with that guy and he was a big shot. He was riding his camel. So Sayyidina Muawiyah said, that can I mount behind you because the earth is very hot. He said, who are you? And the king of such and such area, the chief of such and such area, and a person like you will be sitting behind me. So he said that, very hard. He said, just use the shadow of my camel. Oh brother, it has nothing to do with the cooling down of that earth in less than 1 second. And when he came back, so the cases happened to the soul of Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala. When he was coming to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so he was doing it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, what happened? So he said, Ya Rasulullah, because of scorching heat. He said, where were your shoes? He said, here. He was standing there and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him. He said, there. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, so why you did not put on your shoes? He said, because you were hard. You said that Muawiyah, go with this guy. So to me, it was considered disobedient to come to this side and to put on my shoes. So my dear respected brothers, I have to tell you one thing else. When the fight was going on between him and Ali, on both sides there were Sahaba, the Roman emperor, he was trying to exploit the opportunity. So he wrote a letter and sent as ambassador to Muawiyah. And he said that if you want, I can help you. You should fight Ali there in the battle. I will attack him from the back. And you will get rid of and you will become the Khalifa. Sayyidina Muawiyah, he wrote a letter. And he wrote the letter, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Min Muawiyah tabni Abi Sufyan. من معاوية بن أبي سفيان إلى كلب الروم. إلى كلب الروم. That this letter is from Muawiyah son of Abu Sufyan to the Roman dog. He called the Roman king what? Dog. Say dog. The Roman dog إلى كلب الروم. And then he wrote that this is my dispute like the dispute of a brother with brothers. If I will feel that you have taken a step towards that, you will see me, I will be a soldier fighting behind Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So my dear respected brothers and sisters are not here. But anyhow, they will be listening somewhere through this. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers, I was referring to the akhlaqiyat. Because akhlaqiyat, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ مُعَلِّمًا وَإِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. So what is itmam of makarim al-akhlaq? I will show it practically to you. And that was the case of Sahaba Ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in. Hafiz al-Sahab is teaching you that this is farz, this is wajib, this is sunnah, and this is mustahab. Yes or not? You are learning, this is farz, this is wajib, this is sunnah, this is mustahab. And this sunnah is sunnat adi, and this sunnah is sunnat ibadi. Sunnat ibadi is that sunnah where you are bound to do it. And sunnat adi is habitual practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you will do it, you will get reward. If not, so you will not be asked for. You know what I'm saying? Now this is only for academic purpose. I have written a book, Dirayat Ul Riwaya in Arabic for ulama. That's a reference book. Dirayat Ul Usul. So there I have mentioned that for us there is sunnat adi and sunnat ibadi. But for Sahaba there was no distinction of sunnat ibadi and sunnat adi. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying, they used to follow his way of prayer. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was eating, they were trying to follow his way of eating as well. The first one is sunnat ibadi and the second one is sunnat adi. But they were not making difference as far as following is concerned. They said this Rasulullah did and this Rasulullah did. Sayyidina Salman al-Farsi, Radiallahu ta'ala. You're from? Turkey. From Turkey, yeah. Yes, Turkeys are nice people. Yes. So anyhow, that's what I was telling my brother Zishan and Mohammed. Zishan visited Turkey, but I told him that you have missed a few places, you have to go there. Yes, and yesterday I was telling them that I was sitting there with Sayyidina Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Raziyallahu ta'ala. You know Turkish people call him Sultan Eyyub, E-Y-U-B. Yes, he is the host of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is what? The host. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was migrated to Medina, he was staying in the house of whom? Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. For how many months? 4 months. How many months?
4 months.
4 months. In the house of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Raziyallahu ta'ala. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once he said that Ni'am al-Amir, the best king will be that one who will conquer the Constantinople. Constantinople, which is Istanbul of nowadays. It was called what? Because that city was built by King Constantine. So that's why it is called Constantinople. And that was the center of Christianity of that time, like nowadays the Vatican City. But at that time, Constantinople, that was the center. And therefrom, all the conspiracies against Islam and Muslim was going on. So as a center of conspiracy and cruelty, Rasulullah says, who will conquer that, he will be my adjacent neighbor in Jannah. So the first one who tried, because there was no any way to go to Constantinople but only through ocean, through sea. So the first one who arranged a naval force, that was Sayyidina Muawiyah, Raziyallahu ta'ala. Because of this hadith, he was trying to be the adjacent neighbor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah. But that army couldn't succeed. Then after him, everyone, even Umar ibn Abdul Aziz Raziyallahu ta'ala, he tried, but he couldn't succeed. But then in Ottoman Emperor, you call him Mehmed Sultan. What do you call? Yeah, not Fatih Sultan. We call him Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih, rahimahullah. Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih. And after Abu Ayyub, the much more respected Sultan in Turkey, the people do give him a lot of respect to Turkish people, than Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih. Why? Because Abu Ayyub, he was the host of Rasulullah, and Muhammad al-Fatih, he will be the adjacent neighbor of Rasulullah there in Jannah. Because Rasulullah says, who will conquer Constantinople, he will be my adjacent. What this king did. Because the sea, the people of Constantinople, they have put big chains inside the sea. So the ship may not cross over and to attack the fort. So my dear respected brother, what Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih did, he arranged such a way for his attack that up till here, the ships came, the naval forces came, thousands of tons of animal fats he melted, and the mountain close to the ocean, the path and the way, whatever it was, he put that melted straight on that to make it a slide. So he brought out the ships here from the ocean, put it on that way, and slided it towards the ocean behind the chains, and came once again down to the ocean and attacked the Constantinople. And he conquered it. And he got that basharat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he will be a just never. I was there. My daughters, they were with me. So Sultan Ayub radiallahu ta'ala, I was sitting there for a long time reading Quran. Then with Sultan Fatih, I was sitting there a little bit more. But I didn't notice, but my daughters. So they said, Baba, I say yes, that you spend more time with the Sultan Fatih. Yes, so I made a joke. I said that he is the adjacent neighbor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah. And great people, they have great castles. And that is posh area where the Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will live in Jannah. That will be what area? Posh area, big castle. And with every big castle, in the main entrance, there is a servant quarters. The servant is living there to give services to. So I said to my daughters as a joke that I was putting up a application to Sultan Fatih that please can you accommodate me there in servant quarters, because I want to stay there to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he is going out and coming in. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers, number 3, the A'mal. After carrying the Utammim Makarim al-Akhlaq, so I was referring to Salman al-Farsi, radiyallahu ta'ala. You know a battle in the time of Sayyidina Umar, radiyallahu ta'ala. I have written a book on Khulafai Rashidin, and I named it as Khulafai Rashidin, Hazrat Hassan or Hazrat Muawiyah. I included Sayyidina Hassan and Sayyidina Muawiyah with because we are doing injustice to these two Sahaba. So Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala, in his time, a great Sahabi who attacked the Persian Empire, the big general, Khalu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Anybody who knows the name? Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, jazakallah. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, radiyallahu ta'ala, one of Ashar al-Mubashshar. So he was the general. And Salman al-Farsi, he was his wife's assistant general. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, radiyallahu ta'ala, when he conquered Qadisiyah, you know Qadisiyah. Qadisiyah situated in which country?
Spanish?
Iraq. In Iraq, when you will go from Jordan side, I traveled Aldul Quran a lot, alhamdulillah. So when you will travel from Jordan, so the boundary city is called the Ruwayshid. That's that. When you will cross over the boundary, so the first boundary city of Iraq is called Qadisiyah. And Battle of Qadisiyah, that is a famous battle in the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Sayyidina Sa'ad radiallahu ta'ala, he conquered it. He was not feeling good, suffering from fever. He received a letter from Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala that as your mission is successful and going successful, so go ahead. Cross the river and conquer Madain. So Sa'ad ibn Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala told Salman, that Salman, order of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, okay. March. The army started. The infantry and the cavalry and the camelry also. When they came to the river was flooding. It was rainy season. Dijla or Tigris. Nowadays is very deep. At that time, when no any water channels were taken out from that, how deep it was at that time. And it was flooding season. Now when the people of Madain, they came to know that they are coming forward, so they broke the bridge. They may not cross over it. They broke the bridge. Now when they arrived there, so Sa'ad ibn Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, he had his horse, a white horse. It was named as Balqa. It was named, and for its fight in the battlefield, Balqa was known. That was Balqa. When Balqa attacks, so the army is becoming crazy behind it. So he held it. Stop. Salman radiallahu ta'ala was behind him. He said, Amir? He said, yes. He said, why you stop? He said, river. He said, look, this is alam al-asbab. But we are here for musabbib, not for asbab. We are here for one who created the asbab. He can demean it. Now the sabab will not have the same result as usually it brings when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills otherwise. So he said, Salman, make it clear what you mean. So he said, I mean that water does not drown. This is Allah who caused someone to drown because of water. He said, when he didn't will, how Musa and Bani Israel they crossed over Mediterranean. And he said, the fire cannot burn. This is Allah give the quality to the fire to burn someone. Otherwise, when he didn't will, Ibrahim was sitting here in the blazing fire and he was enjoying. When Ibrahim was thrown alayhi salatu wasalam there in the fire, Jibreel Amin approached him and he said, Ya Ibrahim, Allah keh haja, do you need me? May I help you? So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said, Amma ilayka fala, I don't need you. You are a makhluk and creature like me, what you can do? I don't need you. Otherwise, in such like situation, everybody else, somebody should come and help me. But that was Ibrahim. Alayhi salatu wassalam. यकीन मिस्ले खलील आतिश नशीन है। सुने ताज़ीब हाजिर के गिरफ्तार गुलामी से है बदतर बेयकीनी। और अल्लामा says कि सुने ताज़ीब हाजिर के गिरफ्तार, because what is ताज़ीब हाजिर? In modern civilization, belief in science more than our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have a strong belief in science and strong belief in Allah. The whole world has a strong belief in science. They say if science is not with you, you cannot do anything. This is the weakness of Iman. सुने ताज़ीब हाजिर के गिरफ्तार गुलामी से है बदतर बेयकीनी। So my dear respected brothers in Islam, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Jibreel Amin said, وَأَمَّا إِلَى اللَّهِ, you need Allah. So if you need Allah, just ask Him. This was also the strong belief of Ibrahim. He said, وَأَمَّا إِلَى اللَّهِ فَحَسْبِي مِنْ سُوَالِي عِلْمُهُ بِحَالِي. Yes, I need Allah, but I will not pose at the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He sees me. If He is happy with the situation of mine to get burnt, I am happy with it. So then Allah says, Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. Or Allah says कि आज भी हो जो इब्राहिम का ईमान पैदा आग कर सकती है अंदाज़े गुलिस्तान पैदा. आज भी हो जो इब्राहिम का ईमान पैदा. समझा? You are awake? Inshallah. आज भी हो जो he and Hafiz Iqbal sahab, they are old time friends of mine. कि आज भी हो जो इब्राहिम का ईमान पैदा आग कर सकती है अंदाज़े गुलिस्तान पैदा. And our Allama says कि आग औलाद इब्राहिम है नमरूद है. Now the people, when they watch these Palestinian kids, the way they are facing the situation, the woman they are facing the situation, is strengthening your iman or not? Say loud.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. The non-Muslim, they are watching. These people are made of flesh and bones, having no fear, getting killed in thousands every day. Why? Because of Iman. So Allah says कि आगे औलाद इब्राहिम है, नमरूद है. क्या किसी को फिर किसी का इम्तिहान पसंद है? जज़ायर बद्र पैदा कर फरिश्ते तेरी नुसरत को उतर सकते हैं गर्दों से कतार अंदर कतार अब भी. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, anyhow, now أخلاقيات لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. So Sa'd ibn Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala said, Salman, make it clear what you mean. He said, you are Amir, just jump, I will follow you and the army will be behind us. So Sa'd ibn Waqqas radiyallahu ta'ala, he did like this, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and Balqar jumped into the river. And after him, the horse of Salman, and other infantry and cavalry and the infantry and cavalry and camelry. Abu Hurairah says, when we were crossing over the rivers, So the water was coming to our ankles and the ankles of our rides, not more than that. And when the people of Madain who were standing there and they were watching us because they were happy, no bridge, how they will cross over. But when we did it, so there, somebody has a Kalashnikov, has a Koyak, a Chedo Yak, and all these type of things. I know all these weapons because when we were fighting against Russia, so all these things, they were in our observation and in our use, so that's why we know it. Yes? You were not there. Are you one?
No, I was small.
You were small, but I was big.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know that. Because he was with us. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers in Islam. So everyone, he threw his weapon to the ground. And there is him. They were Persian speaker and Persian people. That's why that's called Al-Iraq al-Farsi. That portion of Iraq is called Al-Iraq, Persian Iraq. Because Iraq is a plural. Al-Iraq al-Farsi and Al-Iraq al-Arabi. And both of them is called Al-Iraqin. And sometime later Salman al-Farsi was the governor of Iraqin. So Al-Iraq al-Arabi, the capital was Kufa. And Al-Iraq al-Farsi, the capital was Basra. Got it? Kufa is known for Imam Abu Hanifa, and Basra is known for Imam Hassan al-Basri. So there, the people of Madain, they raise their hand, and in Persian they say Diwan Abadant. What they say? Diwan Abadant. What is Diwan in Persian? The jinn, the demon. These are not human. Crossing over the river without any asbab. So they say these are jinn. Yes, and fighting with jinn, that's a suicide. Got it? Now, when they cross over and they surrender, so at night, an elite and chief of the area invited the big generals for a dinner. Because the chiefs, they are not with someone, they are with every rising star. Yes or not?
That's true.
Because they want to save their property and their wealth. So that's why they want to have good relation with every comer. That whosoever will take over, we are with them. This is the practice. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers in Islam, they invited them for dinner. Sa'd ibn Waqqas says, I told you he was sick. So he said, Salman, he said, that you will go, I cannot go. He said, okay. Salman radiallahu ta'ala, he went there. That was Iranian and Persian culture. Iran is known for its carpets and for its mawa'id, sufra, and food. Salman radiallahu ta'ala was sitting there on Maida, started eating Bismillah. One morsel of food fell down on sufra from his hand. So he picked it up and he said, Bismillah, and he ate it. Now someone, a servant, who was serving them, he was Muslim, hidden there. So he came close to Salman. Lawma fa'alta ya sayyidi. Sir, if you would not have done it. Because these people are very much impressed by you people. But this thing is not considered good in Iranian culture. That the fallen down food, you have to pick it and to eat it, that is not considered good in their culture. He was saying slowly, but Salman al-Farsi radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, هَكَذَا رَأَيْتُ خِبِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ يَفْعَلُ أَوْ أَتْرُكُ سُنَّةَ حَبِيبِي لِهَؤُلَاءِ الْخُلَقَاءِ. This way I saw my beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The food morsel fell down off his hand. He picked it up and he said, a mustaqil bismillah for that one morsel, and he ate it. Should I say bye-bye to the sunnah of my beloved Payghambar for these food people? So to them, Sunnat Adi and Sunnat Ibadi, that is called the Utammi Makarim al-Akhlaq. They were following every practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So akhlaq, and they made their personalities. Or Allah says ke gharaz, he is praising Sahaba. So he says ke gharaz mein kya batao tumko wo sahara nashi kya the? Hafiz Iqbal sahab, this is nazar to you. कि गरज मैं क्या बताऊं तुमको वो सारा नशी क्या थे जहां बीनो जहां बानो जहां गिरो जहां नारा। वो दुनिया बनाने वाले थे, वो दुनिया को जीनत देने वाले थे। They were the people who beautified this world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. If people will believe the way Sahaba believed, so they are guided people. And Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi said, فَوَاللَّهِ لَنْ يُفْلِحَ آخِرُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ إِلَّا بِمَا أَفْلَحَ بِهِ أَوَّلُهَا. I swear to Allah subhanahu, the ummah will never become successful unless they practice the way Sahaba were practicing. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, look at me. There's akhlaqiyat, and the third thing, that is called a'mal. So a'mal is of two types. Number one, in connection to Allah, in relation to Allah. We prayed our salat is over. Say alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept it, say amen. Inshallah, we will be praying salat asr also. Inshallah. Yes? So, these are ibadat, these are amal in our relation to Allah. We are establishing our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through here. But the second part of amal, or second type of amal is in relation and connection to our fellow people. How we will sell, how we will purchase, how we will lease, how we will mortgage, how we will establish a partnership, how we will do a preemption, how we will do this practice and this practice, how we will handle our political situation, national or international situation. So that is the second part of Amal. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us all these things through his practice. He showed to us all these things through his practice. Why Khulafa Rashidin were the successful people? Because in their system they used to follow the footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the fourth thing is the duties and responsibilities. So Muslims, the fourth branch of Islam, that is two things. These are our duties. Number one, ad-da'wah, and number two, al-jihad. One is da'wah, and number two, jihad. And what is da'wah? To convince non-Muslim to accept Islam. And what is jihad? To remove zulm and to counter it. Got it? Jihad is not to counter kufr. No. For kufr countering, there is no jihad. Otherwise, then there would not be any concept of Ahlul Zimma in Islam. Ahlul Zimma are non-Muslim living in Islamic state. They are safe and sound or not? Yes. What Islam says? Say, they must be safe and sound or not? Yes. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Treaty of Medina, which consists of 72 articles. Yes, I wrote a book on Seerah, one in Urdu. I named it as وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا مُحَمَّدُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. One in English, Muhammad the Apostle of Mercy. And now, because we in our community and somewhere else we have our Arab friends, so they asked for one in Arabic. So I completed it but not printed yet. And then I named فَهْمُ Seerat Ul Quran wal Quran with Seerah. To understand Seerat of Rasulullah through Quran and to understand Quran through his Seerah. So anyhow, my dear respected brothers in Islam, al-jihad. So I mentioned here that Medina Treaty, I made it articles. Otherwise, that's in a document. Yes, portions are there, or chapters are there, but that's not articulated, but I articulated it. So in one article, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that lahum ma lana wa alayhim ma alayna. For these non-Muslims who are living in our state, they will be having all those rights which we have. And they will be having all those duties which we have as state citizen. Because when you became citizen, so you and a Gora, a white, or a black, or a Mexican, or a Korean, or whosoever is living here in America, so law is one and the same for all of us or not? Say. Yes. So Islam says, لَهُمْ مَا لَنَا وَعَلَيْهِمْ مَا عَلَيْنَا. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, مَنْ ظَلَمَ مُعَاهِدًا فَأَنَا حَجِيجُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. If in Islamic state, a Muslim will do wrong to a non-Muslim citizen of the state, Rasulullah says, in the court of Allah, I will contest that Muslim. When Rasulullah will become complainant against you for a non-Muslim there in the court of Allah, what you will do then? Now, yes, it caused me to laugh when these people are telling us, oh, human rights, oh, citizen rights, oh, just look at the mouth. When the whole world was full of zulm, that was Muhammad who showed a human etiquette to the whole world. This was Muhammad who made man human. I was saying that Allah created man, Muhammad made them human. You just keep in mind and memorize it. That Allah created man and Muhammad made him human. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, anyhow, now the point is that ad-da'wah, and number two, al-jihad. So jihad is against the zulm. If the zulm is done by a Muslim even, as a Muslim you are bound to complain. If you are not doing it because he said la ilaha illallah, if he said la ilaha illallah, so then what? He says, alim, just stop it. فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. If you can control the zalim by use of your hand, stop. If not, with tongue, tell him this is good. If not, at least let dislike him from the bottom of your heart. That you cannot do anything else. But you can think of him that this character of him is a very, I hate it. So my dear respected brothers, anyhow, now, two duties of da'wah. And what is da'wah? Amr bil ma'ruf. In hadith, the last one. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Sahaba, كيف بكم إذا فسق فتيانكم وتغت نساؤكم. What will be your situation and condition at that time when your youth will become rebellious? إذا فسق فتيانكم, when your youth will become rebellious, وَتَغَتْ نِسَاؤُكُمْ, and your woman will become disobedient. We are living in such a time. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba asked him, "Awa kainun haza ya Rasul?" It will happen because in their time there was no youth who was becoming rebellious and no woman who was becoming disobedient. So they said, "Awa kainun haza ya Rasul?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Washaddu min hada." More than that. كيف بكم إذا تركتم الأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر. What will be your situation when you will not be doing amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar? You will not be promoting virtues and not preventing vices. So now Sahaba said, "Our kainun hada." It will happen. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ashaddu min hada." More than that. كيف بكم إذا أمرتم بالمنكر ونهيتم عن المعروف. When you will be promoting evils and you will be preventing virtues, stopping and preventing people from good and pushing them towards evil. Sahaba said, "Our kainun hadha ya Rasul." It will happen. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Wa ashaddu min hadha." More than that. And he said, "Kayfa bikum idha ra'aytum al-munkara ma'rufan wal ma'ruf munkara." When your IQ will change, intellectual quotient, when your IQ will change, that evil will be looking good to you and good will be looking bad to you. Change of nature. So that is, so they said, "Ya Rasulullah, what will be the solution and reformation?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kitab Allah," the book of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Seerah of Rasulullah, Hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Taraktu fikum amrayn." I am leaving amongst you two things. Lan tadillu ma tamassaktum bihima. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was talking about akhirah and he was saying that maybe I will not meet you again in this place again. Sahaba rizwanullahi broke in tears and they say, "Ya Rasulullah, now when we have difficulty we come to you, what we will do after that?" So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I am leaving amongst you two things. You will never get lost if you will follow them. Kitab Allah wa sunnati." One is the book of Allah and second one is my sunnah. So my dear respected brothers in Islam, I am very thankful to you and especially to Officer Badsa. that he provided us this opportunity, that we came here, we sat together. But situation is such a situation as I started my bayan with that. So, anyhow, once again, I congratulate all of you for this new place. That this Darul Shaitan, which is converted and changed to Darul Quran. Now that is our duty and responsibility to remodel it, to develop it. Not only structure, but spiritually as well. To convince Muslims as much as we can, the close by, to bring their families, bring their kids, to study Quran, to study the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The last thing to tell you in this regard, Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu ta'ala says that the angels of Allah on the day of judgment will be taking someone to the hellfire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, Awqifu, stop. Stop. Aina tasabuna bihi, where you are taking him. Even though the decree has been given by Allah, take him to the hellfire. Where you are taking him? So they will say to Jahannam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, but he was a man who was praying 5 times a day and fasting and charity and hajj and umrah. Why you are taking him to the hellfire? So they will say, Ahlakathu awladu, his children destroyed him. Because he did not give a due importance to his kids, to train them properly, to put them on the right track. We are living in such a time, everybody has in front of him this small shaitan. This telephone I call it. But now it is big shaitan. Because Satan cannot do that swift as this telephone is doing. It ruined the people and especially the youth. Now we cannot stop the technology, that's not in our control. Technology will be there. Now that is amazing for you. And you will get amazed that I am the only one in America, I don't have this thing. I don't use it. I don't have it. And I don't use it. That I'm learning about this technology from my friends. I'm learning from that because I'm in need of references to this technology. That's why I'm learning. So anyhow, your kids, the whole day and night, they are busy. Everybody has it. Yes, your duty is to think about them. Otherwise, you will be the loser. Even though you yourself personally, you are a nice and pious guy, but that is also your responsibility. And when the evil is spread all over, responsibility increases. So now your responsibility is too much bigger. So for the set purpose, you have to support every masjid and madrasa, wherever that is. And especially this new one, you have to support it. So here is the registration form. So everybody is requested to fill up the form. That will make your worldly life a happy one and your life in akhirah a prosperous one. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide sources and means for the good development of this center, Darul Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it practically Darul Quran. May Allah make it practically Darul Quran. May Allah make it practically Darul Quran. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin Muhammadin wa alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma rabbana ighfir lana dhunubana wa uyubana wa sawatina min ra'atina wa shi'ahatina wa hududina wa kunna muqayyin zahira. ربنا اعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. ربنا اعنا ولا تهنا واثرنا ولا تؤثر علينا. اللهم ربنا اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما اعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت. فانك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك انه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يظلم من واليت تبارك ربنا وتعالى. اللهم ربنا ايد الاسلام والمسلمين. ربنا ايد الاسلام والمسلمين. ربنا ايد اخواننا واخواتنا في فلسطين. اللهم ربنا ايدهم بتايدك العزيز. اللهم ربنا انقذهم من ظلم الظالمين الصهاينه. اللهم ربنا سلط الصهاينه بعضهم بعضا. اللهم ربنا شتت شملهم وفرق جمعهم وخرب بنيانهم وزلزل اقدامهم وخالف بين كلمتهم وخذ مخازين المقتدر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our rulers to the right path. We don't ask them to attack anywhere and to do battle and fight, but at least they should have Islam, because we have one thing by the name of OIC. They call it OIC. I tend to OIC. Amazing. So what are they doing? At least they should have a united mawqif and stand. That stop this fool. Killing the kids, killing the innocent people. Why? Because they are Muslims. الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم بغير حق إلا. This is a crime that somebody is Muslim. A Muslim is not a human. A Muslim woman is not a woman. A Muslim kid is not a child. Why they are getting killed? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give tawfiq to Muslim rulers to get united and to have a united stand. Yes, we are thankful even to non-Muslims who are protesting against this. The Muslims are doing it, but the non-Muslims are also. Why? Because this is against humanity. This is against humanitarian norms. This is against humanitarian values, aqdar and akhlaq. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our brother and sister. Allah help our brother and sister. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make them safe and safeguarded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala release and liberate Baytul Maqdis, our Qibla Ula, from the tasallut of these zalimin. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khair khalqi Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। वो काजी साहब की लिखी हुई किताबें हैं।